Can you see me? Just want to make sure I'm close enough to the camera so you guys can see my face. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Jamel from Fantasy Life, and this is my new game mode review. Well, not really a review, but new game mode high TTK Rant, which is surprising because I don't really rant about most games. I'm pretty optimistic about most games, especially Titanfall, because I love Titanfall, favorite fucking game in the world. But I gotta rant about this. Like this high TTK, which I don't know what TTK actually stands for. I'm assuming it stands for high time to kill. TTK standing time to kill. I don't understand the purpose of this particular game mode, and it boggles me because Respawn has game modes that are better that they can put into this that are a lot more exciting. And it boggles me why they would add something like this. High TTK. That sounds awesome. Like I clicked on it, I didn't even read what the heck it says, which what it says is it's experimental. Pilots require more bullets to kill with most weapons. This will search for matches of attrition, amped hardpoint, pilot versus pilot, march for death, and bounty hunt. So basically, all the hell this is a mixtape. It's the mixtape. It's a mixtape. It's all it is. It's a mixtape of game modes that we already have, with the exception of Mark for Death. Mark for Death is the only game mode that's on here that you can't pick. It's not a permanent game mode. But other than that, you can play attrition, amped hardpoint, pilots versus pilot, bounty hunt, and that's it. But with the exception of, again, Mark for Death. The only exception in high TTK is you don't have access to your boost. You don't have access to like your pilot sentry, your amped weapons, your ticks, or any of that good stuff. You don't have access to that. And it boggles me as to why they would add basically a glorified mixtape that does not allow you access to your boost. I don't understand who asks for that. I've never heard anybody in the Titanfall community complain about the boost in this game. Most people tend to enjoy the boost. Granted, most people tend to use just the pilot sentry, but most people don't really have anything bad to say against the boost. They're for the most part particularly fine with the boost. Some people use smart pistol, some people use anti-titan sentries, so on and so forth. Some people use dice roll. I know from time to time I'll use dice roll just to try something different. But I mean, I've never heard nobody really argue against boost, but the high TTK is basically a glorified mixtape without the boost. And I don't understand the purpose of it, especially when you have game modes that you could include, like Mark for Death. Now, Mark for Death is a game mode within high TTK that you can play, and in this particular game mode that you can play that you can't really pick outside of any of the other ones. And it's just so confusing. Why not just add Marked for Death and put like a double XP on Marked for Death? I would actually enjoy that better. I'm not a big fan of Marked for Death because honestly speaking, the Titans kind of ruin it for me for that particular game mode. It would be better if it was a game mode without Titans. If it was just like a pilot only game mode, you mark the pilot and you got to go kill the pilot. That would actually be better for me. But granted, it's a game mode. You can play it. If it would give me more incentive to play it if there was like a double XP marked for death, especially due to the fact that everybody knows Titan Brawl is coming back at the end of the month. So this is the perfect time for Respawn to implement a bunch of different game modes before Titan Brawl comes out, because Titan Brawl is one of the, if not the most popular game mode in Titan Brawl. So once Titan Brawl comes out, there's going to be a lot of people playing Titan Brawl. Like, people love the Titans in this game, hence the reason people play and buy this game is for the Titans, hence the name Titanfall. So when Titan Brawl comes back at the end of the month, which is going to be a permanent game mode once it comes back, a lot of people are going to be playing that solely. Like, people are probably going to even forget about like LTS, which is sad because LTS is awesome. But this is a perfect time for Respawn to implement games like Marked for Death, Double XP, to give people incentive to play Marked for Death. This is also a perfect time for people to implement, for Respawn to implement maybe like Iron Last Titan Standing, so that they can play like Iron Last Titan Standing, and then still have a week to implement a different game mode right before Titan Brawl comes out. So I actually would have loved to have Iron Last Titan Standing this particular week, and then next week maybe have Marked for Death or some other pilot oriented game mode, and then have Titan Brawl at the end of the month. That actually would have been better. But instead they gave us high TTK, which again, don't know what TTK stands for. I'm assuming it is time to kill, high time to kill. But the only difference is that they take away the boost, which again is, and this is why it's a rant, because I don't understand. Nobody in the Titanfall community was asking for game modes that did not include the boost. Like, I don't know or heard of or seen any videos where people were upset about the smart pistol or the pilot sentries or the Titan sentries or the amped weapons. I don't know of anybody who was upset about that. Hence, they introduced a mixtape, glorified mixtape game mode, which talks about, which basically gives you game modes that are already in the game. These are game modes that are already in the game. Again, with the exception of Marked for Death, these are game modes that are already in the game, and you don't have access to your boost. I don't know why they did that. It doesn't make sense to me at all. Like, I can play attrition whenever I want. I can play bounty hunt whenever I want. I can play amp hardpoint whenever I want. I can play pilot versus pilot whenever I want. I can do that already. I can do that already. That, oh my gosh. And then they, like, the only incentive I have to play this game mode is for Marked for Death, and that's 1 in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's a 1 in 5 chance I have to play Marked for Death. If I wanted to even play Marked for Death. Again, Marked for Death isn't my favorite game mode in this particular game, and I have a 1 in 5 chance to play it, and I can't even play it with boost. I can't play it with a pilot sentry. I can't play it with a Titan sentry. I can't play it with amped weapons. I can't play it with an extra battery. I can't play it. Like, I don't understand the purpose of high TTK at all. This is a irrelevant game mode in my opinion. Like, this is a game mode nobody asked for, and that's why this is pretty much a rant, because I don't understand it, especially when Respawn has game modes that they can implement. Again, Iron Last Titan Standing would be a great freaking game mode for them to implement this week. Then next week, maybe something else. And then at the end of the month, you have Titan Brawl coming out as a permanent game mode again. And again, you have Marked for Death. I wouldn't mind playing Marked for Death, especially if it was like a double XP. Make it a double XP week with Marked for Death. But instead, they give us high TTK, which is a glorified mixtape. That's all it is. And I know I keep repeating myself. I'm sorry that I keep repeating myself. It's just, it boggles me. It's not resonating with me, and it upsets me, because this is a relevant game mode. I already have mixtape. If I wanted all of these game modes, again, with the exception of Bounty Hunt, I can add it. Bang. I have a mixtape. 4 games. Most of which consist of the games that are in TTK, and I have my boost. I can use my pilot sentry if I want to. I can use my amp hardpoint, my amp weapons. I can use my map hack. I forgot about the map hack. My smart pistol. I can use all of these stuff in this particular mixtape that I just created in, what, a second? It took me a second to create this mixtape? So, again, Respawn, you're doing an amazing job, Respawn. You're doing an amazing job with this game. But you do things like this that the community just can't get behind. Like, I can't get behind this. I don't understand this. It makes me scratch my head. Like, I'm scratching my head. I don't know why high TTK, which again, I don't know what TTK stands for. They don't really tell me what it stands for. I'm assuming, again, it stands for time to kill, and that's just an assumption because of the blood splatter and the crosshairs that's there. But it's irrelevant. That does not make me want to play this. It does not make me like it. I look at it and I'm like, okay, and then I go and I click on Last Titan Standing, and I play Last Titan Standard. That's what happened. Because I seen High TTK, I was like, oh, cool, a new game mode. Let me play it. Didn't even read it. Played it. I'm like, wait a minute. What the hell is different about this? I'm playing the same game modes that are already in the game, with the exception of Mark for Death, because I did play a couple Mark for Death game modes. And I'm like, this, why? Why am I playing the same game modes? Like, and I'm noticing I'm not getting the boost. I'm like, I can't even get my pilot sentry. Like, why can't I use my pilot sentry? It doesn't even give the option for the pilot sentry. So I'm like, no, this is trash. This is straight garbage. Basura. Trash. Like, no, I don't want to play this. So I backed out, and that's why I just did this video. And sorry for the rant. I don't mean to be a Debbie Downer with the whole Titanfall community. I've mostly been positive. If you look at all my videos, I've been positive about everything in regards to the Titanfall community, but I can't be positive about this. This game mode makes no sense. It's garbage. It should not exist. It's again, especially when they have better options. Respawn has better options. Like, let's say they for whatever reason they couldn't create anything this particular weekend. They could have just they have Mark for Death. It's in the freaking game mode, High TTK. So if I want to play Mark for Death, you're forcing me to play High TTK for a 1 in 5 opportunity to maybe play that particular game mode. They could just add Mark for Death and make it a double XP. That's if they wanted to do that. They could have did that, and that actually would have gave more people more incentive to play that. Like right now, High TTK is a mixtape of games that are already in the game, with the exception of Mark for Death, and it's not even freaking double experience points. Like even if they made it double experience points, that might even give me a little bit more incentive to play it. But it's not even double experience points, so I have zero motivation to play it. Again, they probably would have been better off giving us Iron Last Titan Standing. I would have loved if they would have even made Iron Last Titan Standing double XP. But even if they didn't do that, they could have just did Mark for Death with double XP, and that would have been way more exciting than High TTK. Sorry for the rant. I just needed to get that off of my chest. And make sure you subscribe for more Titanfall 2 videos. I promise you other Titanfall 2 videos will be, a little bit more optimistic than this. This is just something I had to get off my chest. And remember, your life is a fantasy.